Yo. morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. And how are you? How are y'all doing again? Hey. I still don't understand y'all.
We'll break you in soon enough. Or you can get used to...
You know, I've only been here, 26, 27 years, and I still don't get the idea of y'all.
Yeah, it's like, what's up with his accent? Why you keep faking?
No, I speak the real Texas accent.
Absolutely.
So y'all doing okay today?
We're doing well, man.
Have y'all got your coffee? That's the Birmingham accent?
Yes.
Yeah, we've got your coffee.
Coffee and biscuits.
I can bring biscuits if you want to.
Oh, I'll eat some biscuits, but I like serving.
I'll bring some biscuits if you want to.
I know that means something different to you, but
it does. It does.
Well, we're back again at the Olympian Table. We are those that are joining us. We appreciate you tuning in. We're just here to share our minds as real estate professionals, and we talk a little bit about everything except real estate. Now, we do talk about that sometimes, but this is kind of where we
And please like and subscribe and comment.
Yes, share this.
I want to know people. I want to know more people's comments.
Yeah, just kind of what they think about what we're.
Because sometimes I think to myself, "Am I on the wrong track?" Now I'm scared of saying that.
Sometimes they'll tell you, "Be careful what you ask for."
Well, I asked for it. I guess we've got to take it.
Absolutely. If you ask for it, you got to take it. Don't get mad when they tell you who they are. When somebody tells you, shows you who they are, believe them.
Absolutely.
Well, cool, man. We got a few different things to talk about.
Where did you get that shirt from, James?
This is Joseph A. Bank, and actually, not to give a plug for them, but this is one of their shirts. I like them. I usually shop there and get some threads. You like it?
Threads.
We get you some. It's supposed to have a pink hue.
Is that another Texas accent? Someone used the word threads.
No, that's just old slang. I don't know if that's a Texas thing, but that's what it is.
Okay, come on then.
So what we got, man? We're talking about some. We're diving into this crypto thing. It's been a topic of discussion, and we're going to be heavy on that today. So. I am not.
Would you say it's been a tough, in general? Would you say it's been a tough week for crypto, an exciting week for crypto?
Well, I think it's all exciting. It just all kind of depends on how you
depends if you're Chinese or not, I guess.
Hey, exactly. Because over there they're not messing around. But it's been volatile in some areas, and I got the alerts on my phone. I see them. I pretty much ignore them. When it goes down, I get more.
So you bought some this week?
Oh yeah,
me too.
When it goes down, I just get back. I get more. My wife doesn't know, but she'll be very happy when we're
spoils.
Yeah,
I'm hoping it adds to my
return comes. So, but anywho, we got what's this Lightning Network? I think that was your thing, huh, Jack?
Yeah, I put it on here, and there's a little video of this guy. So the Lightning Network is another network that is on top of Bitcoin, the Bitcoin blockchain, and Twitter announced that they will be utilizing that on their platform. So basically, say your favorite politician is on the platform, you can send that politician money directly through Twitter.
Really?
Yeah, and so this guy actually does it for us right here, and I can show it to us. Let me put it full screen.
How do we do that? How can we get on the network?
Well, I guess if you got,
I'll take donations.
We're checking it out.
Yo, we're here in Chicago.
That's town.
And we've got David here in a Starbucks in El Salvador.
Different country.
Okay.
David has his Strike account linked to his Twitter account, and we're going to make a free, instant cash final remittance payment over Twitter. So I'm going to go search David's Twitter account on my phone. I'm going to find his tips button, and I'm going to send David $10 over Twitter for changing the world. It's going to open my non-custodial Lightning Moon wallet.
Okay.
Anyone in the world can download, and I'm just going to hit send. And boom. We just made an instant free remittance payment from Chicago, Illinois, USA
El Salvador.
to San Salvador, El Salvador.
Less than 5 seconds.
Over Twitter. Why would anyone ever use Western Union again? When you take one of the world's largest social internet networks and you combine it with the world's best open monetary network, Twitter accidentally becomes one of the best remitting experiences in the world. This one singular payment standard And this one singular open monetary global monetary network is dematerializing all existing monetary networks. Western Union, pawn to E4. Your move.
Okay.
How secure is it?
Well, I mean, it's Twitter. I mean, so you got your Twitter information. I'm assuming there's a layer of security to the Lightning wallet. Was it the Lightning wallet?
Yeah, it's called the Strike wallet.
The Strike wallet. So here's my thing. If you are a bank CEO, there's no way you could be comfortable right now.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Now, I agree with what you're saying, but just go into it a bit deeper. You don't feel secure about.
So it's not so much the security. The whole thing about this blockchain was the people.
I agree with you, by the way, but I'm just trying to find out
that didn't have all these layers of you got to do this, you got to do this. So this really, literally allows us as individuals to do
take control
of everything without some institution being ahead of it, right?
Right. Which for years and years is what's actually made banks very, very wealthy.
Exactly. And banks charge fees, and banks do this, all of that stuff. So
just
now,
because they can, not because it's a competitive
yeah,
market.
just because they can. So now we're in a situation to where you can send money over Twitter through your Strike account, and I guess there was no fee, or maybe there is a fee.
It is, but it's like insanely small.
Oh, so
Yeah.
if you think about you sending this money
Less
to
than 1%.
whoever, and it's a done deal. You don't have to go to Western, like you said, Western Union. Your move. They're probably going to go out of business soon.
Yeah, so there's actually let me see if I can find the article.
Because as a banking CEO, anybody that's in that, we already see brick and mortars closing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, so I want to buy a house.
Yep.
So you can now pay for your house on Twitter.
Maybe in the future. Maybe in the future, depending on where the money's coming from.
But yeah, like when El Salvador picked up Bitcoin. Well, and this is funny. So the heading reads: El Salvador's new Bitcoin plan could cost money providers like Western Union and others $400 million a year. But really, what it should say is El Salvador's new Bitcoin plan could save citizens $400 million plus a year. So
they're leaning on the company. Oh, we feel bad for the company. Blah blah blah. But and we've been paying these fees for years. And I'm not saying I'm trying to see some company go out of business, but man, this is a game changer. This is a game changer.
So just how, the United States has a dollar, Canada has a Canadian dollar,
Right.
Twitter has Bitcoin now. So that is going to be the native currency.
But all the cryptocurrencies and these new systems is actually taking control of the market.
That's
away
essentially what
from
it
the
is.
banks.
Exactly. So when you go into your Twitter, Jack, where would you find whether or not you have this ability? Is it just in every account?
So right now they're only rolling it out for like you have a certain follower count. I think,
Okay.
currently.
Okay.
But
They're only rolling it out for banks.
But the guy who does Twitter, Jack, he also, I don't know if he's the owner or like the CEO. He's very high up for Square business side of things, and Square owns Cash App. And so that's all tied together.
I paid for something the other day with Cash App.
You paid for something with Cash App?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and you can buy Bitcoin on Cash App.
Yes, I did
So they
see
were
that.
one of the first
That's why I
payments to
raised
do
it,
it, or payments.
Because PayPal's doing Bitcoin now. It's pretty much wherever. I don't know if you can do it on Venmo. You might be able to do it on Venmo too.
No, you can do it on Venmo. And actually, the first time I heard about it is when PayPal bought Bitcoin. That's when everything started going parabolic last year.
Okay.
Is when PayPal picked up Bitcoin.
Gotcha.
So,
well,
moving on to the Oregon guy.
Oh,
This, the JREAM coin.
so this now, mind you, he's not as I read more about it, he's not the first athlete to do this. Apparently, there was some kid that was at what was the school? I think it was another school in UCLA. Yeah, UCLA basketball guard Jalen Clark. His is called J-Rock, like, you know, the dollar sign J-Rock. And when he launched it launched at about 63 cents. And, you know, this is just kind of one of their deals. It's just one of those gimmicky coins, kind of like how Dogecoin started. That's how I would liken it to. But you think about it, man, if you can just create a coin, just your own, and monetize it, because he's supposed to be allowed, you know, people to buy using that coin, so to speak, to buy merchandise and to, you know, have these private chat sessions with him on Discord pages and that kind of deal. So this thing is endless, especially with college athletes now are able to get money.
Do you think there needs to be some sort of security for the consumer that buys this?
For the cryptocurrency?
Mm-hmm. Well, people that just start up their own coins.
Secure.
I think it
You do? You think it's secure?
There's a lot of
More
layers.
security.
There's a lot of layers in it. It's so secure, or at least started so secure. There's people that have lost millions and millions and millions of dollars in it because they couldn't remember their stinking password.
Yeah.
So
There's do you hear about some British guy that apparently bought all this Bitcoin and it was on his hard drive?
Died?
No. He just happened to throw the computer away and he's in a trash dump and he's been looking for it for like 3 or 4 years.
Oh, he'll never
And
find
the
it.
Bitcoin that he got, they reckon now is worth like 20 million, 25 million. And it's just on his hard drive somewhere in the trash heap.
So here's something to take into consideration talking about it. So there is 21 million total supply of Bitcoin. This is the only asset class where you can literally take it to the grave. Meaning, if all of us were to die with our crypto, no one's getting access to it. Does that make sense? Unless you transfer it, right?
Right.
There's no way for me to access, or your kids to access your crypto unless you share that information with them. So, with that being said, over time, I think they say about 5 million Bitcoins are just gone, locked away because they've been lost. So over time, you're going to have all these Bitcoins get lost.
So you can't put it in your will, or you can't?
I mean, you can, but
You could, but you'd also have to include the security to get into it.
you'd have to put your seed phrase for all this other stuff. So anyways, over time, this is an asset class that is literally the supply is diminishing naturally just because Bitcoins get lost on the way.
Wow.
So think about how that's going to fluctuate with your price over the long term.
That's worrying.
Is it worrying?
Yeah, it is, because I mean, one of the reasons I put a little bit aside in Bitcoin, is because hopefully to help me with emergencies or retirement or anything else. So if I'm driving down the freeway and I'm in a car accident, especially being epileptic as well, my head's taken off, then it's lost.
Or you got to have that information written down somewhere.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I have a cold wallet, right? So all you need is the passcode to my cold wallet, and you guys could get in and get all my shekels if you wanted to. But if you don't do that, then it's gone. So it's just all about taking the right steps to do it.
Right.
But like you're talking about with this guy in England who lost like $20 million worth of Bitcoin, like if he doesn't find that, those Bitcoins...
Can you imagine how he feels? That's all I keep thinking about.
Those Bitcoins are gone forever.
How do you throw it away?
I mean, can you imagine every day you go into the dump to, check the trash out, and as you're sorting it out, then they're putting more trash into it?
Of course. Yeah.
But yeah, with this like JREAM token, I think this is a big rocky road for this guy, and I hope he does everything correctly because
Why'd you say it's a rocky road for him?
Because you don't want the SEC to get involved. Like say some guy with $5 million gets in there at 26 cents, and then as soon as it hits like 60 cents, he just sells $5 million worth. And I don't know the market cap of this, but if the market cap is $10 million, he just sold half of the market cap.
Right.
So
What's the SEC rules for things like this? Do you know?
Well,
Isn't it, if there's more than so many people involved?
I think it's been a big controversy because it's not regulated like everything else.
There is a really big lawsuit right now with XRP. and y'all should look into it. We're not going to go into it, but they are getting audited by the SEC, and it's funny because all the XRP holders are saying the SEC is supposed to protect the consumer, but as soon as the SEC intervened with the asset, it just tanked. So they did the complete opposite of protecting the consumer. They kind of stole the money from the consumer.
Because it's sort of interesting because, you know, at one time we looked at starting up an investment group, you know, to buy properties and flip properties because we've always got opportunities out there. And, you know, there's so many rules and regulations from the SEC.
Right. So with the SEC, they're suing Ripple because they're saying Ripple is sold as a security. When they're saying Ripple is not a security, it's a utility currency. And so that is going in court right now. And the reason I bring it up is because they actually cite Ethereum as being a currency as well as a utility.
Okay.
And why is Ethereum not getting audited by the SEC?
Oh, they some haters. Why are they bringing other people in?
Which is a good point. I mean,
Yeah.
what applies to one
It is
should
a
apply
point.
to somebody else.
So it's going through the court, and it's not looking good for the SEC right now. I'll say that much.
Okay.
Ripple is winning. XRP, sorry,
When you
is
say
winning.
court, which court is he going through? Are we talking at national level? Or are we talking in a state?
Well, again, like you know, it's a lawsuit. They can.
Yeah, but that can be at different
Anybody
levels.
can- yeah,
sort of.
I was trying to see if I saw anything on it. I don't know if I can't tell which court it's actually in, but it's enough to get those guys involved on that federal
And
level
the
for
thing
sure.
when you get to sort of stuff like that is the cost that it is that you hit with.
Yes.
Securities and Exchange Commission announced today that it has filed an action against Ripple Labs and two of its executives who are also significant security holders, alleging that they raised over $1.3 billion through an unregistered ongoing digital security asset.
A lot of clams.
The SEC's complaint filed today in federal district
Federal
court
district
in
court.
Oh, it's federal for sure.
So you're looking about-
compliance with violating the registration provision of the Securities Act of 1930. From 1933, I'm sure your crypto asset will fall under like a law made when World War II was still going on.
They're reaching for a precedent, man.
Yeah.
They are reaching for a precedent.
Well, World War II wasn't going on in 1933.
Yes, it was.
Things have changed.
In 1933?
39 to 45.
So
Okay,
it was a brewing.
World War One then, yes.
It was a
World
brewing.
War II was 1914 to 1918.
Yeah, so either way, World War One then. Yeah, you're right. World War One. So even worse than in my case, like World War One, you have a war going on and you're trying to use this asset. But yeah, so like I said, the SEC, and these guys don't have to dump the price. It could just look that way. But all these investors will get mad, and they're going to be kids who are usually followers.
He opened at 63.
Oh, so yeah. So he's
He's
already
already
down
lost.
like 30%, 20%. So, I
So if
wouldn't do it. If I were you guys.
I was
So
telling my
if a
son that too.
cryptocurrency goes the wrong way, is it backed in any way, or you just
No, it's a free
or just
market.
lose
No,
your or
it's
you
a
just
free
lose your butt on
market.
it?
You just lose.
Is there any liability on him?
Look. If you buy 1,000 JROC tokens, right? You're still gonna have 1,000 JROC tokens. It will just be worth less US dollars, but you still have 1,000 JROC tokens. That doesn't change. Just because the price tanks 50% doesn't mean you have 50% less tokens.
Do you think there should be some sort of liability on him?
No. That's the whole reason this exists.
So anybody can just go in and open up a cryptocurrency.
Yeah. If I convince to sell you some swampland in Louisiana and you buy it, that's on you. That's not on me, man.
On free market.
I mean, I
It's a
wouldn't do
liquid
that to
market.
you because you're my friend, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think there should be some.
Like what though?
I don't know. I don't understand the crypto.
Once you start to employ some type of
But I think it's open to abuse. That's what.
Everything's.
Well,
I mean, the stock market.
that's anything. So
Well, yeah. Okay, go ahead. Jay.
yeah, the fall of 2008. I mean, that tells you right there. I mean, it's all been abused.
Oh, that was.
It's a continuing cycle that this happens. The players, the deal now is more of the consumers are more educated to be able to take part in what the big guys have always been taking part in. So that's kind of where we live.
The stock market is like one of the most regulated assets, or not even assets, things in the country, and it's the most manipulated. the same time.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's much security in any investment. At the end of the day, it's an investment.
It's a risk.
Well, but sometimes
Gambling.
I think that's used as an excuse for people to.
I personally think that crypto markets are better off than the securities markets, even though it's unregulated.
What do you think this thing looks like for these politicians that are on
Yeah,
Twitter
that-
that are
that
receiving money, through?
You know what I think about
Twitter.
politicians receiving money? You haven't even got to ask me that one.
they'll have it. So there we are.
Especially these PACs. I mean, I don't think they should be there. Full stop.
They won't be going away anytime soon. This just kind of opens up another opportunity for money. So
For abuse.
yeah.
And I just think people need to be educated and smart at the end of the day.
Well, that's why we're here at the Olympian Table talking about it.
Absolutely.
But don't invest in Dream Coin.
Yes. Don't don't do it.
That
Don't
is,
hate on you,
that is
Jalen.
financial advice.
Yeah, no hate on you, but
Yeah, and we are
we're
not
buying.
we are not a financial advisor.
We're not.
We're just, I guess
All
a
right,
little
we
bit.
got this
opinionated.
Atom coin. Is this a new one? Another one?
Atom.
Atom. You found this, huh, Steve? If you bought $1,000 worth of Cosmos or Atom January, here's how much you'd have now. How much would I have now?
Around $4,600.
It's only 5x. That's not much.
Well,
In terms
it's
of-
still more than you put in.
It is. Let's see if we did some.
Okay, if you bought 1,000 in January this year, okay. Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad.
Do you think
is it?
300?
Did you buy some?
No.
Oh, come on! Don't you teasing us?
No, but look, that's what it says. Look, cryptos have put. That's how cryptos have.
Oh, and you
performed.
asked me about this one, James, Solana.
Yeah.
Just so you know, Solana's goal, I don't know if you their goal is to create, I don't know if it's an exchange or a computer network that operates as largely as the NASDAQ and the stock exchange all in one. That's how big their goal is.
Oh wow!
So they're very young right now at like $130 a token, but that is the goal to get to that level. So it's going to be a big project if it succeeds. Yeah, that's what I was telling Steven too. It's like even if you don't like Bitcoin, there's just so many other little projects you can get involved in that you'll find something you like. Like AVAX right here, I'm on this one.
I guess the key is to do some research on which one you want to get into, because that's really where the confusion comes in. I got a buddy of mine, and we talk about particular stocks, and there's one he's been watching, and I said, man, have you looked at any cryptocurrency? Because you're doing the stock market, and if you're willing to invest it there, and you could do buy a little cryptocurrency.
There's two comments that I got for that. Right. One is when you take your advice on this, can you honestly believe what's some of the things on the internet, which hopefully we're going to talk about a little bit later on.
How things come across, right?
Yeah. And some of the things they even talk about. I mean, all you've got to do is think about GameStop and AMC,
yeah,
and some various things like that. So, and that's part of the problem, because some of the stuff on the internet is just unreal. I mean, it's so ridiculous, some of the things that they put on the internet.
Exactly.
And then, how do you feel some of the people that rely on their income, like financial advisors, on the stock market when this is coming up?
You mean, how do I feel about the individuals or the
Individuals aren't very
FAs
smart. I'll tell you that much.
People that rely on their income
from the stock market?
from the stock market.
It's not a smart
I don't think that's a smart
plan.
Yeah,
For
sure.
I know it's not, but I mean, people that rely on the stock market and how much some people put into the stock market. I mean, a typical example is Warren Buffett.
Mm-hmm.
But that's your first mistake, though. Is
That dude is 175 years old, though.
if you are relying on a security for your income, you're taking the wrong step in the wrong direction. regardless.
Yeah, I don't think that would be wise. But the key is we just got to get more educated. Bring it back to our world, buying real estate. You don't just go into some neighborhood and just, okay, I'm just going to get this house without looking at the things. Unfortunately, they do.
Right.
Some people do.
Exactly.
But the smart ones, you employ a real estate agent and say, hey, what's the price of this? What might be coming in the future? You do some research. At least you should. But man, I know some folks go into it blind. And quite frankly, when I got into it, man, it was just, I went into it a little when I got my first toe into cryptocurrency. Was Tron.
Which one did you buy first?
Tron, what I got into. That was the first one I got into. And didn't know much about it, but it was, opportunity. I said, you know what? I understand the concept. So I got a little bit of money to waste. And got into it, and it's doubled since then, but it's just sitting there. It's gone down, it's gone up, it's like, it's there. So you got to do research, folks.
Yeah, and it's like no one buys a house and goes, I'm not going to work for the next 2 years because interest rates are low, and I know the equity on this house will
swell.
2x.
Yes,
so
exactly.
I'm going to make an extra 120 grand just from
Well,
living in
some
this house.
people do. One of the things on here looks like perhaps some
Well, that
people
person
do
is an
that.
idiot.
Is that person smart? Is that person smart?
That person is not what we
There's
call
always
smart.
somebody that
And I hope someone
breaks
pulls that
the
off,
door.
because that's insane. If you can do something like that, then hey, hats off to you. That's a great business move.
Yes.
But to rely on a business move like that,
I wouldn't say it's a great business.
Yeah, for sure.
to buy a house and it 2x's in equity? Are you serious?
Oh no! That is
sitting to wait and just not doing anything.
Yeah.
That's not a
sitting
good
and
deal.
waiting is the issue.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So,
How about your guys over in the East, man? What are they doing with this Bitcoin thing? We talked about them last week. They released
they released their own cryptocurrency
and
for their Olympics.
Right. They're getting prepared because we got the Winter Olympics coming up over there. So they are shutting down all of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency exchanges.
Which is, well, a lot of people say that it's actually going to help the value of Bitcoin. In the long term, they think it'll actually help the value.
Well, I think there'll be an immediate hit to it now, which for
is
me, it just says to me, just get in and buy some more.
Right.
But it's crazy. So you 1 week tell us this is yours, and then the next
But I
week
think
you
that's
say,
part.
hey, you can't
I think
do it
that's
anymore.
part of the decision-making process from their end.
So another thing to consider is that Bitcoin was never none of.
But you were
cryptocurrency
saying,
is
Jack,
banned.
it's what 15 times they've shut it down.
It's not banned, and I'll go into detail with it right now. So this article you're looking at, this guy posted it. This is what I was telling you about. He posted it September 24th. Very bad news. Hope it doesn't impact the market. But look at the date of the article.
2017.
And so all these people were like, well, a lot of his followers are inept enough to understand the joke, but some people were like, dude, this article's from 2017. How are you going to share this to your followers? So then here you go. So we're only right here. They've only banned it a couple of times, but there is a guy I follow. His name is Matty Sino. He is a venture capitalist in China, and he actually wrote an article because he speaks fluent Chinese about what happened with all this as active.
When this quote unquote ban came out.
Yeah, like last week he wrote an article about it, or he wrote a Twitter thread about it. My gosh, crazy. This much.
He's got a lot, man. He's got a lot to say.
A lot of engagement.
Yeah, linked. But in the he has done, or not he. China bans crypto, and they actually did this earlier this year too. I think. Well, they didn't ban it, but they banned like mining or something. So it's not the new.
So basically,
And one of the big companies who mines Bitcoin is in China, is it not?
probably. I don't know.
I read somewhere that one of the biggest
Probably so.
miners of Bitcoin is in China.
I want to be surprised.
Well, here's the deal. and then we'll talk more about it a little bit later. You think about the media and the headlines that they put out, right? China shutting down all of Bitcoin. This guy grabs this article, throws it in there. Of course, no one looks at the date. And of course, he was being, sarcastic basically to say, oh, look, they banned it. I hope it doesn't affect the market. And of course, the market is, I don't even know what the numbers were in 2017, but I'm pretty sure they were not.
They were not in the 40s.
In the 40s
I think
at all.
it was in the 10s, actually.
So that just lets you know, and it's going. I remember going to a Texans game, and this guy was talking about Bitcoin. This was years ago. And yeah, I got my Bitcoin this, and I'm doing this. Oh, and I can buy. He was talking about he can buy drugs and hookers and all this stuff. And I was looking at him like he was so excited about what he can do and all this money he can spend. And I was like, oh, okay, guy, well, whatever. But that was years ago, and I know it's continued. Bitcoin is a topic of discussion.
I do think it's going to be part of our future.
It is. It's already. It's a part of our present and will be a part of our future. So I if you're not on board with it, eventually you need to get in.
I can't find this article where he breaks it down, but he is basically saying that the exchanges are just limiting the amount of stuff you can do in comparison to what used to be offered in the free market. So it's not actually banned, is what he was trying to get across. But like you said, the media will always portray it in a way that you get clicks, because when you see China bans Bitcoin, your eyes open up. You're like,
But
oh.
But I just think that's what's governing our news at the moment. Is they just want you to click. That's all they're after is ways, and I think it's leading to all the posting news, which at times isn't
misinformation.
Accurate. It is.
Yeah, it's definitely misinformation.
And all they're doing is, it doesn't make it which side of the fence you're on. All they're doing is trying to generate clicks to get you at the top of.
Exactly right.
And it's how you correct it, how you direct it. I don't really know. I mean, free society, and you just
got to do your own research. That's
the part that's difficult. Which way do you go?
You got to do your own research. Look at a little bit of both.
No, I tell everybody pull up BBC.
Look up a little bit of both.
But with BBC, even with BBC, at times it's very difficult.
Well, this next piece was a little bit more in our world. This guy who lived, shall I say, I don't know where he lives now, in Long Island, New York, got a house, okay? He bought a house in 1998. It was $290,000. He made one single mortgage payment, and then they foreclosed on him in 2000. I don't know what month, but in the year 2000. After 23 years, this guy was just evicted. Just evicted after living in a house paying one mortgage payment. He probably could have saved enough money to pay cash for the house. 23 years. I don't know what the mortgage payment was.
If his credit's good, he could always refi it now.
Well, the deal is...
Well, he can't if he's been foreclosed, obviously.
Right. The deal with it is, it was a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath home. This guy's 52 years old. So, what's that? 20 years ago, 30, 27? I mean, it's ridiculous.
23 years.
23 years where he never made a payment. And if anyone had to question whether or not mortgage companies want to take people's houses, this is proof that we don't want your house. We don't want your house. We just want you to truly
stay to the contract.
Hey, just do what you say you're going to do. Pay your mortgage. You said you're going to pay it. We gave you the money. You're going to pay for it. So 23 years, man. That's a long time. So they said the free ride could finally be over if Nassau County Housing accepts and the decision stands. So there's still a chance that they'll let this dude stay, which I think is ridiculous. He looks able-bodied to me. What do you think?
Oh, he's got plenty of cars.
That's old.
And a Mercedes.
Oh my goodness. He's got a Mercedes.
Well, let me tell you something from the days of when I was selling all the foreclosures back in 2000s, 2008. There was people that the court evicted, but they didn't actually ask them to leave. Some people for 2 years, 3 years
Just stayed
after
in the house?
foreclosure, they stayed in the house. They asked for reinstatement.
I mean, it's hard being a landlord. People think it's easy. I know folks want to get out there and
Well,
do it, but it's tough.
These were for the banks, and I mean, I don't think it's right that people should be able to do it, because I don't think it's fair on the people that pay their mortgages
Right.
and stick to it. But at the time, if you remember, the banks were getting bad press,
Right. For
and they
foreclosure.
was concerned about,
Yep.
and at the time they had something called robo-signing. I don't know if you remember what robo-signing
Robo
was.
signing with the closing documents.
When you did the closing documents, there was a document that you basically, with robo-signing, that you would sign when you buy the house. So in the event that when they tried to notify you and they couldn't get hold of you, then the bank would sign on your behalf on the foreclosure, that they could move forward with the
wow.
foreclosure. And now I believe it's being outlawed,
Yeah, that's
or
probably not
they
legal
can't do it
anymore.
anymore. That was one of the changes they made. But that was part of the problem at times, because they reckon the stories, how true they are, I really don't know. And I can't confirm them. There was people actually at some of the banks just signing on their behalf and passing the file down. That, as I said, I don't think we'll get it back into the situation of early 2000s. I can't see that happening.
Well, you hope that.
I can't.
If
I
we
just
keep pushing for,
More printing.
yeah,
It's what they're doing.
It's just it doesn't.
There's-
I don't see how.
I have a very good relationship with an asset manager that I know who previously worked for Fannie Mae. They don't work for Fannie Mae. But they basically said that they can't see that happening again, because now, they'll defer the payment. There's so many different ways now that wasn't available.
Yeah, but deferring the payment doesn't fix the problem. It just pushes it off to the side.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so you can only push so much off to the side before you have to face the reality of the problem you're creating.
Yeah, but the point that I'm trying to make is the banks are more inclined to try and work with people, because they really don't want the asset, like you said.
It costs
They
money.
don't. It
costs
does
money.
cost money. It costs more money
Yeah.
to take the asset back than what it does to do a short sale.
Yeah. So if you have a willing party that says they want to pay, they'll more than likely take your money.
And then you've got the bad press on top of that. So, the banks are looking at that. I was talking to an agent down in Lake Jackson that we have, April Vera, who works for some of the banks foreclosing properties, and she said there was the last 12 months, 24 months, more foreclosures, that she's had down there, but maybe had one foreclosure the last 6 months. She's got one at the moment that she just got notified on. They're doing a cash for keys.
Right.
And the cash for keys, they're paying $3,800 just to get them to move out.
Wow.
At one time, it was between $500 and $1,000. So you think how much money it's costing banks
Right.
to even get them out of the property?
Before they even put it back on the market,
Right.
hire an agent,
Absolutely.
clean it out, or
Mhm.
anything. Yeah.
And there's sometimes with some of these houses now, what they're doing is they're actually selling, foreclosing on the house, and what they're doing is and they're selling the house, people to buy it or auctioning it off, with renter in the house, and basically saying, "You buy the house, your problem." It's a different environment to what it used to be. So that's why I say I can't see that happening. In all fairness, I think the banks are being.
Well, you gotta be. We go through that once. You hope you do things differently.
If a bank loses $60,000 on the house, it's a $60,000 write-off against their profits.
Right.
Well, we're about to see how much money have on this next one.
Well, at 400
Oh,
million
yeah.
on that one slide, I think they've got enough money for that.
So speaking of great segue, I guess you can see.
We're gonna swap 6 and 7 on
Sounds good.
because
Let's do it.
like I was saying, J.P. Morgan got sued for spoofing actual. The article reads: J.P. Morgan Chase & Co. have agreed to pay $15.7 million to settle a class action lawsuit by investors stemmed from sprawling U.S. government investigation, illegal trading in precious metals, which is basically setting a bunch of orders at a certain price, so everybody pumps the price, sell those orders, but you intend to cancel, but they cancel the orders.
The whole order.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So yeah, they got fined $15 million, but like this guy says right here, it's still a profit if the fines are less than what they're making to do this illegal stuff. And then this guy says it's not a fine, it's a cost of doing it. So when you're that rich, like a bank, like you're saying, 60,000 slap on the wrist. It's not even a slap on the wrist. That's like $5 to us. These guys got money to spare.
Is JP Morgan Chase the biggest bank, or a Bank of America?
We can look that up. I know they're not in the world. Our banks over here are small in comparison.
That's what I
$487
thought.
billion
That's
market.
honestly what I thought. I thought JP Morgan Chase were the biggest bank. Look who's second.
Industrial and Commercial Bank of China.
And then Bank of America
China.
and Wells Fargo.
Yeah, but another thing I'm willing to.
But yeah, as you said, look, when you look at that market cap and you look at that fine, really?
Yeah.
It's not even $5, Jack.
And also, like, these are American banks. 3 out of the 4 American banks, and America has pumped 40% of its dollars into circulation in the last 2 years. So what is this number really? What is the real?
What is the
market
real
cap?
number? Yeah.
This is a heavily inflated market cap.
I agree.
So it's interesting. I don't know. Now the China has won, but we know they haven't been doing all this crazy stuff to their economy, and they have, but not as insane as what the Fed has been doing over here in the States, and they're going to keep doing it. Jerome Powell went on and said he plans on keeping everything the same. If not, we have to print more money, I think is what he said. Or it was Janet Yellen, one of them.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep going down that road. And
The interesting thing, Chase, they had to pay, I think it was $920 million they agreed to pay last September, a year ago, on some violations of some criminal crime to settle some probes, and this that was just a year ago.
makes you think how much money they made from it. Yeah.
Exactly, almost $1 billion get to pay in a year of each other. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. We're in the wrong business, Steve.
But do you think? Let me ask you. Here's where it gets political. From your political view, because this is one of the reasons why I don't think that I think it's really putting a nail in the coffin for the American system. You think that's the case with the likes of Chase? Do you think that indirectly is obviously putting a nail in the coffin for the American system, and do you think it'll ever be corrected? Because what I really want to know is how much money do Chase and Wells Fargo and all the others put into the political system?
We will never know. We would never know the real amount.
Because to me, that's part of the problem that I think there is with the American system. Actually, not just with the American system, but with all the political systems, in all fairness.
I mean, you're basically buying elections, but you know what they report is fine. But
Well, it's not fine, really.
yeah, well, what they report is fine because there's nothing else you can do about it. You got to accept it.
least they're reporting it.
They're reporting something, but we'll never really know that number. But I mean, let's just look at it. Amount donated to U.S. political parties during the election cycle. Shoot this to you, Jack.
Pull up, yeah. Just put it in.
Put it in the live.
Because it's issues like this that really make the political system lopsided for the middle class, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
You know, as far as I'm concerned, I'm all for the middle.
It's not opening. I got it. Got it open on my. Wouldn't let you do it. Is it showing the amount of money donated to political parties? So this top line, of course, it gives a red and blue kind of who they dated or donated to, shall I say. Wells Fargo, they're heavy in the blue market. 2 billion. Let's see, 2.2 billion basically to the Democratic Party, 1.2 to Republicans.
It really doesn't matter, in all fairness, which side you give to, but it just goes to show how much influence
Oh
they
yeah,
have
absolutely.
in the system.
And it's the bank: Wells Fargo, Chase, Bank of America, American Bankers Association, Citigroup, Trust, all.
And then,
they're at the
how
top.
much influence and hold do they have on, the so-called
Well,
representatives that are supposed to represent the people?
the people, right? But the deal is that you scratch
We
our back.
the people is Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America, and
You owe me a favor. I owe you a favor. Do this for me. I'll do this for you. That's basically what it boils down to. So it's unfortunate, but that's what happens. Whoever has the deepest pockets. Oh well, we still live here, and you came over here. So shame on you. All right, what we got?
So our boy Gary Gensler, chairman of the SEC.
The SEC chairman, yeah.
He has some excellent saving advice for anybody under the age of 25. So we're gonna check it out.
Starting off your freshman year of college, others might be entering your final year. I bet that most.
And I also want to say this just shows how out of touch guys are.
Oh,
I
yeah.
agree. That's the reason why I put
money
this in.
one way or another. Should I join a meal plan or buy groceries? Should I make coffee at home or hit up the coffee shop? I want to take it beyond those topics about your expenses. What I want to talk about is savings. Start saving early and save often. I know it sounds a little odd, you're still in college, but just for a moment, if you were to save $5 a week and you earned maybe 8%, starting off while you're at college, you may have $130,000 plus saved by the time of retirement at 65, just from
In
$5
40 years,
a
you make
week.
130.
But if instead you waited until, let's say, you're 40 years old to start saving, to get to the same numbers, you'd need about $30 a week. So, start early, save often. And if I may, one other thing, maybe go to office hours. Also, if you wish,
Yeah,
follow
going to
along
office
with
hours will
Office
help you
Hours
save
with Gary,
money.
a series we have on the SEC site where I try to break down all sorts of topics related to the securities markets. Again, best of luck with the school year. And if you're looking for some...
I've got something which I just want to say to that. Look, in 40 years' time, what's $130,000 going to be worth?
Exactly.
30,000.
Yeah.
If that.
If that.
And this is, I think, one of the this is the problem that, exactly backing up what Jack said, it's just ludicrous.
It is. This is kind of, I think you brought him up before. Was it Bill Gates? They were asking him how much a loaf of bread was, or how much a
Tortinos. I've never had them.
pizza rolls.
Yeah.
That's
Pizza
right.
rolls.
And yeah,
$22 on the Helen DeGeneres show or something. They had him on. And
They have no clue about the real world. That's why people, some of these celebrities get on and they talk about different things that we deal with. When we were on the lockdown, I'm with you. I understand where you're. No, you don't. No, you don't.
They're on a different planet.
I had to go in and cook in my kitchen today with just whatever I had in the refrigerator because there were no grocery stores open. We're not on the same page. You're not dealing with what I'm dealing with.
Yeah. This guy.
Hold on. Can you pull that? There's something that one of them comments I thought was actually a peach. Hold on. It was crypto. Hold on. What was that? What was that crypto one?
Amazing advice coming from someone sitting on over $40 million gathered through a lucrative career of insider trading.
That's true.
Man. All right, crypto bit lord. I see you.
These are all the guys I follow. That's why they're showing up. And then this guy, this guy's really smart. Another suggestion for wealth creation. Moving out of the U.S. so the SEC doesn't protect you from life-changing money airdropped by crypto.
Man. Gary Gensler.
I'm interested to see how the crypto market develops. Whether, I know you're saying that they can't control it in some way, but I'm just concerned that they'll find some way.
Well, the people, that's the whole thing. The people control it. So they literally, I don't know how much it is, Jack, but they literally, they will give you some coin for reporting your transaction, right? In the blockchain, that's kind of how it works.
That's
so
the miner's fee, yeah.
So that will keep everybody kind of out of. It's a look. We'll report it ourselves. We don't need to get these institutions involved. So I don't know how.
No, I agree with you, but what just concerns me is
them finding a way.
Yeah.
Well, they're just going to start to play ball.
Because if banks are losing that much money and they're putting so much money into the politicians.
Well, the politicians are going to be. We're getting younger politicians in there. If you haven't noticed, they're getting younger and younger. And some of these old heads need to go anyway, because they've been in there for. I don't know. When I get up and I hear somebody say, "Yeah, I've been doing 40-something years," that doesn't impress me, honestly.
Well,
Like here, as much as I hate the dude, says, I think this came out this morning. 1 hour ago. It says Elon Musk says cryptocurrency regulators should do nothing and let it fly. I agree.
I agree with him.
If you think it's too risky, then it's not for you.
Yeah, just don't get into it, right?
Just don't do it.
You don't want to skydive? Don't get in the plane. Because everybody that's on here has to jump off.
Yep.
I'll agree with you if they get Mitch McConnell out. That's just my opinion. You just then don't like him. Get the younger people in. I agree, and I think we'll have some sort of future.
Now we get the
real stuff. The real stuff. Okay.
Hold on. I just want to say something before we. This is one of the reasons why I have no particular interest in religion.
Well, listen.
Because when you get preachers like this, the whole purpose of religion was to help local communities, and I'm sure there's good people out there, but I've had some bad experiences with,
So let me throw something out there since you brought it up.
Absolutely.
Religion, you're already in religion.
It's called Bitcoin.
Religion is the belief in or worship of some controlling power or some person.
No, I do. I believe in a God. It's just not the.
Well, my deal is whatever interests you, whatever you feel is the supreme, that's your religion. That's what you are. So let's call it less religion and more. You just got some people that give our Christianity a bad name.
As in every business.
As in every business, right?
And you treat it as a business, the person we're going to...
So it essentially is a business because...
Have you got a private jet?
I don't.
Why
I don't
not,
have
James?
a private jet because I'm a poor man. I don't have jets.
If you got a,
Right.
if you got a
I'm always
private
in
jet,
Bitcoin.
Hey, I'll have a yacht in like 5 years. Trust me. I know it.
You'll park it out on the bay there.
If you've got a yacht and you're in the sea and you go to Galveston, just let me know your
Hey, if I have a
cryptocurrency.
yacht, I will not be in Galveston.
Nah, I'm gonna get my boat all dirty out here in this Galveston water.
Oil water.
So this isn't. I've known about Brother Copeland.
Brother Copeland.
He's been
Now all of a
around
sudden he's a brother.
Well, he's a brother in Christ. No matter what his grievances are.
About a
what
brother
his,
in crime.
His well, I'm not the criminal, so I can't join him in that.
I'm not saying he's a criminal.
But he has been one of those, and I think you mentioned a video. He was laughing, ha 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 ha. I don't know if we found that video, but that looked kind of odd. Unfortunately,
Do you think religion involves in politics? I think politics should be in religion.
But I think politics should be in religion. I think there should be an element of belief in politics, but at this point, it's not. We're not. This isn't a Christian nation anymore.
I think Texas is, because
I agree.
I can't buy liquor on Sunday. Why?
Well, that's a rule. That's not Christianity. That's just a rule of commerce. That's how it's been.
Which was influenced because you go to church on Sundays, and so you shouldn't drink.
But if you think back, a lot of businesses just weren't open on Sunday, and it just never changed.
How about the recent abortion changes? You don't think that's political?
Abortion?
About banning abortion?
It has been made political.
You don't
Absolutely.
think it is?
It is. It's been made political. It's political.
Is it religious?
Is it religious or political? What are you asking?
What I'm saying is, should religion be in politics? And you said yes.
I said there should be an element of belief.
So the answer
politics.
is yes. You can't come in the middle.
Well,
It's either a yes question or a no question.
Why can't I?
Because you're avoiding the question.
No, I'm not avoiding the question. I'm answering you. I think there should be an element of it. So if you take there should be some or none, then it will be yes.
In Texas, there is.
Okay, so if I say yes, there should be an element of it. I live in Texas.
So
it doesn't concern me about the other
So you
places.
can't buy booze on a Sunday morning.
It doesn't bother me because I don't drink.
Well, it does bother people if they do drink.
It doesn't
All
affect
right.
my life.
You don't drink and I don't drink, so from that point of view.
It's a bad example.
But how about the recent abortion changes?
What about it?
Do you think that's a political decision?
That's an individual decision on how
No,
to
it's
do
not.
it.
No, it's not.
It is.
Greg Abbott put it in place.
That's an individual decision on whoever decides they want to do it. If you want to do it, that's your
I
business.
mean, I agree the whole idea about putting a condom on, but the truth of the matter is, do you think that's been made as you said, it's been made a political decision, correct?
It's been made a political decision because it's in court.
So does a woman have a choice
She does have a choice.
to have an abortion or not?
She has a choice
To what?
to have a baby or not.
So if it happens for rape or something else,
She still has a choice
for what?
to have a baby or not.
I'll have it.
What? So what? Within the 6 weeks? If she,
Absolutely. That's
yeah,
a choice.
but a woman can't tell.
You're asking me if she has a choice, and I'm telling she does. Now, the time frame I can't control.
They can't make a decision within 6 weeks.
The time frame I can't control. I have no control over that. You just asked me if she has a choice, and I said she does.
But is that a real choice?
It's all relative, right? Because if it happens and you don't find out until later, you may feel like, you know what, I really don't have a choice. My back is up against the wall.
Okay, so if I had a daughter that was pregnant, all right, do you think it's right that the next door neighbour should be able to make X amount of money to say, well, she's pregnant and she's getting aborted?
What?
Yeah,
That's part of the bill.
You can turn people in.
That's part of the bill.
So like if I found out your daughter was having an abortion, I can report it and they actually pay me to
Do you think that's
cover
right?
that.
So how do you prove that, though?
By finding out that she's having an abortion.
Yeah.
How do you know? Are you in the room?
You tell somebody, and
My thing is, how do you know? I stole a piece of candy when I was 6 years old from the convenience store. Never told anybody else about it. Now here I am, 45 years old.
But it's on the table as a.
Well, right, I understand that, but what I'm saying is,
I think
I
you
don't
will get.
see that-
I think you'll get for money. I think you'll get friends turning in friends for that.
I don't.
But it's in. But to me, that's a political decision.
It's in the bill. It's a political deal, but I don't think you're going to have a whole bunch of folks coming in and hey, I'm going to turn you in because you want to have an abortion.
Oh, so
Because
okay.
I think the lion's share of people say that's your decision. That's what the politicians are the one that have gotten involved and kind of pushing this down to it. I don't think it.
So it's a political
So
decision.
It
you can't sue the daughter, but you can sue the doctor.
The doctor that did it.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just all like, it's like basically saying like the U.S. system isn't racist when like obviously there's a bunch of laws in place that are inherently racist. It just doesn't say it on paper. It's the same thing here, I think.
But it's like all the places that they've put in the voting restrictions are all areas that are
Poor black
predominantly black and brown people.
Yeah, not a surprise. But and then you'll have the politicians say, but it doesn't say that it can't be for black and brown people. Okay, so why did you choose this specific zip code?
Do you know in the Texas Senate there was a black senator that, or whatever it is in the Senate, that got up there and was talking about the black and whatever the voting restrictions, and the chairman of the Senate turned around and said, out of order. Well, why can't I talk about that? Well, because it's basically, and he even said you can't even use the word racial.
I don't know.
They stopped him. It's on a John Oliver video.
I don't know how we turned down that road, but nevertheless, it's a decision that everybody has to make and everybody has to deal with. So
A Texas doctor who has been admitted abortion is a human right.
Yeah, this was the first. I think this is the first case of somebody getting sued for doing an abortion in Texas.
And do we know the circumstances?
Yeah, he did an abortion.
No. Was she raped? Was it incest? Was it?
I don't know. I honestly, I don't think it should matter.
I don't think it should matter
Yeah.
either. I don't think it should matter either.
That's my deal with it is the percentage of incest and rape pregnancies is lower. Most of the time these are done as a form of contraception.
Yeah, but like even then, it's like that's their decision. To
It
do
is.
this.
All I'm saying is, but that's the example that's always brought up though for the argument.
If somebody wants to live their life,
killing babies.
Yeah, basically, even if they want to do that, I mean they want to, regardless what your moral standards are. If somebody wants to live like that, then they go with the circumstances.
I'll say this. If it was a dog or a cat,
no one would care.
It'd be a completely different story.
No, it wouldn't. Because we just had somebody that managed to find a cat that was pregnant. They took it to the local.
They put cats. They euthanize.
They do those. They put those down all the time, though.
Yeah.
Well, no, this one. What happened was they spayed it and they aborted the kittens. Because you can have that done, but nobody. That's something that the owner that took that on because they was going to take the cat. Unfortunately, it's an unfortunate. They decided to do that. In one of our HOAs, they decided.
Political or not.
Anyway,
we know our.
Let's get.
Anyway,
let's get back on to Mr. Copeland.
Yeah, because we didn't even talk about.
Yeah, we need to talk about this dude.
So I think this is the clip of him laughing, actually, right here.
Oh, they didn't give us the audio. They didn't bless us with the audio.
They do.
The media said Joe Biden's president. Ha 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 ha.
I think this is what happened.
COVID-19.
Oh, here we go.
COVID-19.
I don't have it anymore.
I hope nobody was sitting on the front row.
The wind of God.
The wind of God.
On
Did
you.
it catch COVID?
You are destroyed forever,
You are destroyed.
Even if he did, I feel like
and you'll
Kenneth
never
Copeland
be
died.
back.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
What he did catch was a plane from his front driveway. because the man
I can't believe you said that. He's got a runway at his home.
At his home. He has a coded airport, airstrip at his home.
Kenneth Copeland Airport.
That's it. It's up outside of Dallas, Fort Worth area. It is, man. That's the code to it. So it's used solely for just his flights in and out of it. They got some. There it is.
It's Google Maps.
Google Maps, baby.
Jeez.
Oh, it's attached to the church? Why is the?
Well, it's in the church's name, and they interviewed him about it.
So he's a what's the charity? He's a 503c, whatever it is.
503, yeah, 501c.
Because he's registered as a church, he pays no taxes, but he's got an airport, and he's asking for money for a new aeroplane. Do you think he should be a registered charity, Jay?
Hey, man, I have nothing to say. It's the man's business. Got people to support him.
That's called avoiding the question.
If I ask you for money and you give it to me, is it my fault that you gave it to me?
Oh, but you've got an opinion. But I'm telling you, I'm making a decision. I'm saying no.
Do I think that he deserves to have a plane?
Yes.
I don't think he needs a plane. He can ride with the rest of us.
Yeah, I think it's disingenuous for him. I think he even says like or it was Joel Osteen. One of them said like God told them basically that they need an airplane to travel.
Right.
That's just very disingenuous. It's just very misleading as well because there's no way to. Now I don't know what event could have occurred where you portray that information, right? Like he could have looked online for like a private jet just to see how much it was, and then like for some reason like a God article popped up and he's like, this is God telling me. Now I don't know.
Apparently he's got a plane anyway at the moment, hasn't he? He just needs a new one. Oh, he's got a few of them.
Yeah, so
and he's using them as tax write-offs?
Let's look at it like this. Let's say it was costing the church $15,000 a month.
How is that?
Hold on, let me finish. $15,000 a month to fly him wherever he was going. Okay, that's how much it was costing the church. So he looked at the economics of it and said, instead of me spending $180,000 a year, if I buy this plane, the monthly payment is $8,000 a month, and we'll own the plane. Mm-hmm. And we don't have to worry about that expense anymore.
How about the maintenance?
Well, I still got I was spending 15. I still got 7 left. Yeah, in the package, I've
got one check question to Mr. Copeland.
Yeah.
How is that serving the community?
Well, I'm making myself present, be able to pray for.
You don't like answering a simple yes or no question.
Hey, man, I'm just telling you.
No, you're avoiding the question.
No, I'm not avoiding.
Yes, you are.
I need to be where the Lord sends me for people.
On a jet.
I got to get there fast.
I didn't see one of the disciples with a jet.
Well, the Wright brothers didn't put it out there. And put it out there yet. Of course.
But there again, you had Judas.
Oh, yeah. Of course, I'm playing devil's advocate, man. This guy does not need a plane to do the Lord's work.
Well, he doesn't even need an airport.
No, well, of course, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
You don't need an airport to do God's work. But, it's there. But,
Hey, Jack, see if you can find any photos of Kenneth Copeland's
his plane. That's an article.
Yeah.
Not an article, an interview.
Is there any photos of his plane?
Little Gulfstream, it's a little nice one.
Oh yeah, he got one of those nice bad. Ooh, nice.
It's a biblical thing. You can get it.
Let me see if I can send the.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like a 2-minute video, Jack. But here's the full video is like 11 or 12 minutes long.
Uh-huh.
But I think the lady.
A photo's enough, believe you me, as far as I'm concerned.
Evangelist reflects on the time he was questioned by correspondent Lisa Guerrero over his lavish transportation.
So I said, yes. She walked over there and said, We are with Inside Edition. I said, glory to God.
Glory to
You
God.
mean to tell me I made Inside Edition?
In 2019, Inside Edition's investigative team looked into how televangelists travel.
Oh, yeah,
One
very
of them
nice.
was Kenneth Copeland, who founded Texas-based Kenneth Copeland Ministries.
There ought not be any poor among you.
He's one of many preachers who have private jets.
We'd just like to ask you about why you don't want to
Escalate.
fly commercial.
Inside Edition's chief investigative correspondent, Lisa Guerrero, caught up with Copeland in Branson, Missouri, and asked him about his lavish private transportation.
If I flew
2019
commercial,
before his
I'd
career
have to
took off,
stop
'cause we really- I only
65%
really heard
more.
about him in 2020.
Oh, no, he's been big.
From COVID.
Despite Copeland getting heated at some points during the interview, he recently said during a church service that he saw the encounter as an opportunity.
And just about to get in the car, Brother Copeland, and I looked up. There's no one there. Normally, I just get in the car and go because somebody had a camera out there. But I had this catch in my spirit said, answer her. Well,
Okay,
Brother
answer
Copeland, you own a $45 million airplane.
Inside Edition did not say that Copeland owned a $45 million airplane. The cost of the jet purchased by the televangelist was not publicly available, so we had gone to ask him about it.
How much money did you pay for Tyler Perry's Gulfstream jet, for example?
Well, for example, that's really none of your business. But
Isn't it the business of your donor?
I had an opportunity right there on Inside Edition to talk about Abraham and his wealth, to talk about the curse of poverty
Don't hate on him.
at all, and it just went out everywhere because I own a big airplane.
Copeland reiterated what he told Inside Edition in 2019, that while the jet he uses may look luxurious,
Here's what I'll say to this, to all of you critics and detractors. You can't blame the man. You got to hear the message. If you take your focus off of all of that other stuff, if it's the message that you need in your life, take the message. If not, leave.
And I agree with you. But for the people that abuse it, take that 45 million and feed some of the people on the streets and on the corners.
That's a lot of coins. That's a lot of bitcoins.
That's a lot of Bitcoins.
Take that 45 million and feed the people on the streets and the people
Yes.
that are homeless. That's my point.
Now, I will say no knock on Kenneth Copeland. Don't know him personally. I know he has a huge ministry, and
But I'm getting to know him pretty quick.
But yeah, this is the light that shines so.
It's
greatly.
people like this, though, to me, that really give religion
Well, that's
a
what I'm
bad
saying.
name.
It's the light that shines so greatly about this type of stuff, rather than because I'm sure that this guy's helped somebody in life. We can't just say that he's never done anything for anybody. But when you put the magnifying glass on this, it's like, come on, bro, 45 million, that's a lot of money to help somebody. But it is what it is.
Yeah, and you hear about people more quickly when it's adversity
exactly.
than when it's more genuine.
Absolutely.
It's just more attractive.
Are there people in
is.
religion that help the community? Yes.
Absolutely.
All right. But to me, for people like this, I think it doesn't help the cause.
He needs to learn from Joel Osteen.
Hey, Joel, man,
He's got a couple of Rolls Royces, apparently.
He's got a Ferrari.
But
Ferrari.
a lot of his money comes from his book sales, so so what I do with that cheese is my money.
See, that's where I disagree.
Well,
That's where I disagree.
No, I think you can
disagree.
do what you want with your money, but it's just like I was under the impression that it was more about like a quality lifestyle. You don't want to like flash over anyone else, but maybe my understanding of it is incorrect. So that's why I don't talk about it.
If you make it if you make your money on the pretense through your church and your religion, then I don't think that's the case.
So you think that preachers should be poor?
No, not at all.
So
not
they
at all.
can't have
But I
nice
don't think
things,
they
nice
should abuse
houses?
the system. That they don't pay any taxes because they go under the which is, you understand? That's what I'm saying.
I don't hate on nobody that don't want to pay taxes. So that for me, because I don't want to pay them either. But my deal is if.
But I think everybody should pay their fair share. I don't think they should be overtaxed. My whole thing with taxes is, I'm going to use Jack as a perfect example. He makes $23,000 and he pays more taxes as a percentage than I do.
Well,
I don't think that's right.
He hasn't grown to be able to take advantage of those loopholes, but I will counter that with this. What would be a feasible amount, or would be the limit for me to, as far as living? So let's say I don't buy a $45 million plane, but I live in a $1 million home and I drive a Bentley. Is that too much?
Say that again?
I don't have the $45 million plane. I fly commercial like everybody else. But my home, I live in a $1 million home, and I drive a Bentley to work. Is that feasible for a man of the cloth? In your opinion?
But that's the thing. They don't pay any taxes
I'm not
because
talking about
they're
taxes.
considered
So is it taxes for you, or is it just the things that he has?
I think there's two things. One, I think the things that should be, I think there should be a limit on a 50c3. If it's a registered charity, then it should be doing work for the community. So if something, it's a little bit like, I use things as an expense, but it's a business expense where I claim against my taxes if it's a business expense. If it's a personal expense, then that's classed as income. So if I'm driving a Bentley, how is that helping the community?
So that's what I keep hearing. You're saying helping the community.
To me, that's the prime thing with, I think there's two real problems with society at the moment. I think one is, I think parents need to be more involved with children. You understand that? Especially in the poorer communities. Okay? And that's in itself a huge challenge.
I challenge you to say that parents are more involved in poor communities than they are in more wealthier ones.
Well, I hope so. And I really hope so. Okay. But the other part is, I wish there was more community programs put into a lot of the communities, regardless what wealth level they're at. I would like to see more. I'll give you a typical example. There's somebody else I know who's a member of the cloth, all right, who I don't believe helps the community. And he knows all the wiggle room. All right.
So you've got some bad characters around you that are representing the cloth.
Maybe. With some of the things he said to me, and I haven't passed comment, because, that I just think that some of the things he said, I just think he's manipulating the system. And I think that when you manipulate the system, I really believe there's always a day of reckoning. At least I hope there's a day of reckoning. But he doesn't really do much for the community. He really doesn't. Far from it. And yet you've got some churches that I think are really, really good. We've got a property down in Southside. And Southside, it's not a wealthy community. And we actually manage an investment property there, and right next to it, there is a little African-American church. And I can't tell you how proud I was when I went to do a business inspection, a property inspection at this church at 9:00 on a Sunday morning. And there's an African-American lady walking in, and we're like, "Hello, how you doing?" Da, 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 da. And the first thing she said to me was, "Do you want to come into the church?" Now, I'm not really, just says, "Well, I've got to do a property inspection." And then within 10, 15 minutes, she's in there and she's playing the piano I sat on the brick wall for 5 or 10 minutes just to listen to her play the piano. But they do a lot of work in that community, right? They don't have the dollars that they have, but they have a value to that community. Should they be a 501c3? On the face of it that I've seen, I think so.
If they're a church, they are.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. But there's some people out there that I do believe manipulate the system. And then I know, as I said to you, I know somebody else from a different type of church. I don't want to point any fingers, but I feel that he openly, abuses it.
Well,
As I said, it's a shame because I don't feel all churches should be put in that pot.
Exactly.
But that's kind of what you're doing, I think, is what James is trying to say.
That's exactly what I was going to say. And your anecdotal experience with what you dealt with whoever those people are, it doesn't classify every church that way because, I mean, quite frankly, I have less respect, and respect is probably a harsher word. For me, I would rather see someone doing the work than having a camera in front of them showing them doing the work. It's like, just do it. Let's see the results.
Okay, but there's another American church that I know, okay, that I've had experiences with. The pastor has a Rolls Royce, and yet when he goes to the congregation, he goes up in an S10 pickup truck.
Okay. Again, your anecdotal experience. Because I, from what I'm gathering from you, is that if you got nice things, you're not doing enough for the community. That's the way it comes across. And what I'm saying is, as a church, a fully functioning church that has members that are going, those communities, they're all in there. Those are communities that you have sitting on those pews. They're all being affected. So it doesn't make me less of a man of God because I drive. Hold on. It doesn't make me less of a man of God because I happen to drive a Bentley GT at home, and when I come to the church, because maybe I got to bring some people home.
So do you think it's right that he's got a Bentley, but when he turns up to his congregation, he's got an S10?
I don't think it's anybody's business.
Do you think it's dishonest?
What is he being dishonest about? You know he has it.
Because he doesn't tell his congregation.
So it's not a secret.
He doesn't tell his congregation.
So you think no one knows he drives a Bentley?
I know so.
No one in that church knows?
No, I know so.
There's a 0% chance, that non-0% chance.
Because I know somebody in that congregation who goes to his church.
And they don't know?
What's that?
And you saying that they don't know that he drives a Bentley?
Yes.
I would stretch to say that somebody knows he drives a Bentley. It just doesn't matter.
The board of directors on that particular church.
Getting kind of off track here, to be honest.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah,
let's get off because I don't want to get onto this too much.
We're talking.
There's a reason why I don't.
Well, you gotta. It seems to be an issue, but nevertheless, we can approach it later.
It is, but that's why I think there's a lot of people that I think would be more religious, and I think indirectly the long term is I think people, and as I said, I feel that politics is in. I think religion is in the politics of Texas. I think and that's what I think is a shame. Anyway, next point.
I don't know who brought this in, but of course we know that Dog the Bounty Hunter is out on the search for this guy.
That's what
so Brian Laundrie is he's going to be washed up here soon in a little bit because Dog is out looking for him. And
do you think he's still alive though?
I think he is.
I think he is.
You do?
I thought he killed himself, but apparently people are saying he's very versed at off-grid living.
Yeah, living.
Very, very
living
versed.
off the grid. They planned this first trip for a month, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I say that it's it's one of those things where he'll turn up. He will definitely turn up. Now it's gonna stink being out there and going into these cold months.
In Florida though, does it get cold?
Oh, I thought he was down. Well, if he's in Florida, then I think he'll be okay. But
Yeah, no, he's in.
But would you not think he'd be keeping on? If you're in his position, I'm sure you would keep moving. And apparently they found some of his campsites, haven't
Yeah, so this family was camping, and because nobody knew that he was
On the run?
that they leaked that he was at a different park, because the parents checked into a park at the beginning of September, but no one released that information. I don't know if the FBI was just keeping it to themselves or what. But as soon as Dog the Bounty Hunter leaked that the Roberta Laundrie, which is his mom, has signed into the park on September 6th, everybody who was in the park at that time started looking through all their pictures. And so the person who was literally right next to them were photographers, and they had a drone, they had all this stuff. And so they took a picture of all of them. This is them at the camp, and you can actually see,
Day.
I'm not going to say Brian, but a lanky ass white
This
dude
man.
in the
You
back.
took a selfie
who's
of the
bald,
four
just
of us.
walking. See all of them, and then and they camped right next to their camp. So if that is him, he was there when they checked in at the beginning, which is when he had gotten back from the trip across the country by himself. So it's not looking good for him.
If he's hanging out in Florida in those swamps and those gators, crocodiles, man, he'll be in some trouble.
Yeah.
He do better to just turn himself in, because he looks more and more guilty.
Yeah.
The more he runs, folks are going to create their own narrative anyways.
The body came back as a homicide.
Oh, okay.
It was 100% a homicide.
My wife said he killed him. He killed her. So if my wife said so, hey, it's a wrap.
Yeah. We don't know how it happened, and like the FBI is still getting like DNA evidence, so they don't know if like they found different body parts or they found like things. You know, they don't release all that because he's still running, but it is a homicide investigation.
Wow. Wow.
I think Dog finds him before the FBI. I would bet money on it. I would bet actual money on it.
Yeah. You know what? There might be a line in Vegas right now too. So somebody start that up.
They might have to go over there and put a bid.
Them betting that Dog's going to find them before the FBI does.
I got you.
Yeah, they probably. I don't know, man. It's Brian. If you're watching the Olympian Table, turn yourself in, man. Turn yourself in. It's not worth it, bro. It's not worth it.
That's sort of astonishing about this is if his parents are involved in this, which a lot of people say they are. I mean, they're facing a terrible problem.
Aiding and abetting, yeah.
So they actually said that if his parents are found to be guilty of misleading law enforcement, because remember they sent everybody to that big park, which was like an hour and a half away from this. It supposedly costed like $1.5 million in taxpayer money because of all the vehicles they had to deploy, all of the overtime that they had to pay the sheriffs and all those.
People are volunteering to help with this.
Yeah, but the cops that got paid and all that, they actually the parents can get tabbed with that bill of almost $2 million for that search effort. If I was in Florida and I found out that my tax money was going to that, I'd be so pissed. I'd be incredibly pissed. But do you remember I was telling you?
It's such a weird case, though. From to think that this sort of stuff.
Remember I was telling you a couple weeks ago that all the weird stuff happens in Florida. It's always Florida. The people from Florida got something going. I don't know if it's the way they raise these kids in high school or what. There's always stuff going on in Florida.
It's funny you say that because remember that girl that ran that dentist over in the parking lot over here at NASA? Wasn't she driving to Florida?
Wait, who?
She had what was that lady's name? They were like dentists. He had like a mistress, and she ran him over in the Hilton parking lot over on
went around in circles and ran over him.
Yeah, but she was either driving from Florida because they said she had one of those astronaut diapers on or something, so she could just use the restroom without stopping. But it was Florida was in there.
Something to do with Florida.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. But yeah, so we'll man, we'll see what happens with this whole ridiculousness. Hopefully something
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unfortunate that young lady had to perish. I don't know what the circumstances were, but this is surrounding Gabby Petito. You've all been asleep the past month.
Yeah, I know you're wrong. And actually, I do want to say the one thing, because her parents spoke to the press for the first time yesterday, and the one thing that I thought he said really well was that the media needs to do a better job covering everyone that's missing. Her dad literally said, there's other people missing right now. It's not just Gabby.
Right.
So y'all need to do a better job.
Absolutely.
Which is what we covered last week.
We did.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
So a lot of people were happy that he said that.
We definitely talked about that. Well, I guess since we're in scandal, let's just keep in that vein. I want to talk about the next one. This guy. So you probably don't know who he is because you're not a Cowboys fan.
I'm not into American football at all. It's not real football.
Hey, it is the only football.
How can you call it football when you use your hands 80% of the time?
Who knows? Who cares?
How do you get the ball from one end of the field to the other?
Using your feet.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Using your hands.
Anywho, Lyle Collins is an offensive tackle for the Dallas Cowboys.
Has he got his cryptocurrency?
I don't know. But what he does have is some weed currency. So I think they took weed off of the list for violations for the NFL.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So the collective bargaining agreement was one of those parts where they made it where they can't be suspended for that, for just weed. Okay. So get this. This guy gets the notification he's got to go and take the test, and he bribes the guy that's going to give him the test. Okay.
Why not? Why waste your time? Just get your brother or something to pee in a cup.
Well,
just make sure they're not doing weed first.
Here's the thing: when you do weed, you probably hang around with people that do weed. But nevertheless, he bribed the collector, which is a violation. They found out, got suspended for 5 games. Okay. Once everything kind of came to light, the 5 games got dropped to 2 games. Okay. He wanted to appeal the 2 games. So when he went to appeal the 2 games and the court heard everything that took place, oh, you were doing this and you tried to bribe, they shot it back up to 5 games. So this dude's going to lose like over $2 million worth of income for this infraction if it doesn't get overturned, which it probably won't, because you should have took your 2 games and been done with it. If he'd have taken the 2 games, he'd be playing next week.
So he's losing 5 games, right?
5 games total.
And that's costing him $6 million?
And the injury guaranteed, how it's written in the contract, because NFL money's not guaranteed. It's written with these gates, and you got to do this, then you got to do this, then you got to do this. Sometimes there's guarantees for these larger ones that they'll get an amount. So you might see a $100 million contract with $60 million guaranteed. But in his case, it's reported that he's going to lose $2 million, and that can be from across, the salary. It could be from across endorsements or any of it. But nevertheless, for really just not taking your punishment. You were wrong. You did try to bribe the guy.
Does it say how much you tried to bribe him?
No, I don't think it listed that in the article.
It wasn't $5 million.
I wonder if it was like $100, $200, like some chunk change. I'd be like, if this dude offered me like $200 and I was a drug test collector, I'd be like, bro, you make like $1 million.
Exactly.
You are not giving me $100.
I'm not letting you off that easy. I'm not. It's like the baby did with those 2 little boys.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Let's take it one stage further. What's your opinion about having weed on the NFL's substance abuse policy?
It's not. I don't care. You know my stance on drugs.
No, I know, but that's what I'm thinking. So what drug was he taking?
It was marijuana. It was reported that he was using marijuana. So maybe he didn't know the CBA had said, hey, you can't be suspended for that. And that's why he still tried to bribe the dude. And that's what got him in trouble. But the issue was...
Did he go to school? I mean, was there any time he didn't go to school or...
Go to school?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Just so he's...
Oh, who knows? because Hooked on Phonics didn't work for him. I don't know.
Perhaps he listened to his earbuds too much.
I don't know. He's missed a bunch of drugs tests. That was probably why he was already hot on the list. But then when you come in and then you want to bribe somebody, it just wasn't a good look for him. He should have just taken the two games that they.
There's something I just want to say in
it.
self-defense. We've actually moved in some NFL players that played for the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got to tell you, I know what you're saying about this guy, but they're all great guys.
Oh yeah,
They're all good guys.
Piece of shit for
They're
smoking
all,
weed.
you know. Now whether they were smoking weed, I don't know. But I mean,
they're normal people,
we've
man.
moved in some of the Texans. Not many of them have managed to keep their wealth after they've finished their pro careers. You know, because we have managed to keep in touch with some of them.
Yeah.
Still, you know, have different things to do with the brokerage. But I've got to tell you, all the ones that I've personally met are all great guys.
They just get paid to play a game, man.
They really are.
They're regular folks.
You know, really nice guys.
Okay, here's the big scandal. So, I don't know how much y'all have to share about this. Really, probably not much from you, with speaking on what you said when we first got here, but you didn't think he was a good singer. Now, R. Kelly.
No. I didn't say he was. I didn't say he was a bad singer. I'm just not really into the music scene.
Oh, okay, well, that's fair. Unless
I'm
it's the
just
Beatles.
not. I'm just not. Unless it's the Beatles
Or Sir John.
U2 or Elton John.
Yeah.
Different time, different.
Hey, we've all been wrong before. But anywho, the verdict came down on R. Kelly that he was guilty on all counts in this sex trafficking that took place. Now, he has always been on the radar since back in like 2000 or so, with this guy having dated Aaliyah, who was an underage singer back at the time. But apparently her parents put her out there and allowed the interaction between the two. And it was always rumored, never really confirmed, from what I can understand with it. So he's had the behavior that was much like Hugh Hefner. Bringing people to your house, letting them stay over. These women, they come, they go, they whatever. And that's kind of how it went down. So this other element of trafficking these women, I think is what got this guy in trouble, because they were being used, I guess, for sex.
And they were underage?
Well, no, some of these are grown women. Now, I think some of them started, I think there were some cases of them some of them being underage.
Okay, I'm not condoning what he done.
Right.
But let me ask you a question. What makes the difference between consensual and trafficking?
Well, trafficking, of course, is against your will. Typically, it's against your will. And some of these folks are and of course, consensual. You say, "Oh yeah, I'm just going to go and do it."
But how
do you separate the two, or how do you determine
how can you prove that in a court of law?
Right. That's the thing. Well, I think there was tons of evidence against him on how things were handled.
I mean, quite honestly, not that I'd want to get involved, but I mean, the way things are today, I mean, it's. I think dating is so difficult, to be perfectly honest, for the age group, for the younger generation. And I just think you've got to be so careful.
I don't think so.
You have to just go into it knowing what your outcome.
But how do you know in 10 years' time that you...
Look, it's
you gotta have a conversation.
If the person, instead of sex, just say, "Do you want a cup of tea?" Right? It's not hard. If do you want a cup of tea? Yes, no, okay. You know your answer. There's no like, I'm not sure. Like, you know when you're doing something that's not consensual and
right.
when it's not. It's not hard. Now, if you're a piece of crap, it's very easy to abuse that. But a lot of guys are not raised to realize that there's a lot of pressure that women feel when they're put in a situation like that. And guys specifically will ask over and over and over and over. And there's a lot of gay people who say that they realize this with males as well, is that they will constantly ask you, even after saying no. They'll still ask. A lot of guys don't like to get shut down.
Right.
So I don't think it's as hard as people let on, because I don't think people shut down guys enough, because guys know that they can do whatever they want. They're stronger. They whatever. The list goes on and on. But it's not hard to pick up when someone isn't consenting. It's very, very simple, actually. And I don't have a doubt in my head from like any of the past relationships I've been with or been in that none of those women consented to like anything we had going on between. It's very simple. Now, a lot of my friends, I hear stories, and not to like point the light in a certain group of people, but like Greek life, very, very prominent for like this type of stuff to happen in Greek life, because it's a lot of, you feed off the energy of the people. So if you see your friend is doing it, there's a higher % chance that you are going to do the same thing, because you're in your head, you're okay with it.
Okay, one of the things that I'm just going back to when I was dating, okay, I was obviously working Olympics, known, in the local media, okay. When I was dating, some of them girls that I decided, you know what, we need to just leave it there. They were very, very bitter.
Oh, yeah.
When I decided that, you know what, no more. And I often wonder at times how they would react if that was now, because it's a different time, completely different, scene, if you want to. And that's what my concern is, because no disrespect to any of the girls that I dated, because I dated some really nice girls, but the truth of the matter is, they could have, at the time, if they'd made allegations, and I don't believe I'd ever done anything like that, and put people under pressure, that because of the circumstances of myself, which is a relatively poor family, relying on some government programs to pay for the sports, but I know that the National Skating Association, if anything was pointed that way, would have cut me out completely right, from any future assistance.
Well, to your point, I think we live in a day and age now to where, unfortunately, if a woman comes out and says this happened, it happened, and you kind of take the word of whoever the accuser is, sometimes without there not being.
No, that's actually where evidence. I was going with this, because it's like, you are guilty until you're proven innocent.
And quite frankly, even if you're proven innocent, that mark is still out there.
It's still out there with you.
So it's like, well, he's the one that was accused of blah blah blah. Yeah, he was accused, but he didn't do anything. It was found out he didn't do anything. And I've even heard cases where a plaintiff has recanted their story. Oh, okay, well he didn't rape me, or he didn't assault me, or whatever. And I don't think that's cool. I think that's if you put that out there,
that should be criminal.
So that should be a criminal offense, man. Don't accuse me of this and I didn't do that.
If he comes back and bite you.
Yeah, it's like that's not cool. That's not cool at all. So I don't know. It's a tough. You don't want to not believe someone.
Do you know the answer of the problem?
What?
Go to church.
Hey, might not be wrong, or at least find a relationship
because
with somebody.
When I first got here, that's what they told me to do. When I got here single, they said, you know what, go to church, get into a singles group.
Find you a woman.
Absolutely. They told me.
But with this R. Kelly thing, I know how weird this dude is. I've seen firsthand. I have literally seen firsthand. Like the girl was in front of me and he was on the phone. How this dude talks to girls, it's insanely weird. Now, granted, the environment that they met in might induce that type of behavior.
Right.
For example, well, I'll tell you, it was a poker club where all the girls that were serving and like bringing drinks around, they just didn't wear shirts. So you know what I mean? So like,
you want about topless?
Yeah, they're just naked. I mean, they wear underwear, but like, so it's a bunch of rich guys who go there, all in their 50s, and they end up sexually engaging these women too. Like, it's a normal thing. Now, obviously, they get a monetary value out of it. So that's how they go to Greece and all these beautiful countries.
Gotcha.
But aside from the point, he's weird. Like, and I don't know if it's his. Well, it is his fault, but like, there's a lot of other stuff that goes into encouraging that behavior that can be adjusted to stop things like this.
It's much like the Epstein situation, right? You just lure these girls around. You do it because that's what you've been doing. Nobody's called you on it. The people around you encourage it.
Cosby.
It's like nobody says anything about it. So
and now he's out.
Yeah, and like Bill Gates was part of the whole Epstein.
Yeah.
So it's a lot deeper than like we leave it to be.
Exactly. So here's what the thing I didn't believe. They don't do sentencing until May the 4th. I thought it was a typo. But this dude has to go back in the clank until May to find out how much more time he's going to get after that. That's a long time. 60, 90 days typically you find that out, but it says May the 4th when they're going to be doing the sentencing on it. So I don't know that
I'd
that's
like to know
normal thing, but
I'd like to know the definition of
trafficking.
What the difference is between trafficking and.
Well, the trafficking, of course, is for the sale, the commerce.
We hear trafficking all the time, which involves maybe people perhaps that shouldn't be here that are forced to do stuff.
Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's just essentially.
Or it's like a lot of these trafficking situations end up like, go here and do this, but when you go there and do that, it's not what you thought it was. Yeah,
exactly.
It's something else.
No, I was just supposed to be here to clean the closet out.
Yeah,
you're gonna clean out a closet.
You're gonna clean the closet, but you're gonna be naked while you do it. Like that's what I'm saying. It's
exactly.
just like stuff like that.
So that's where we live today, man. Unfortunately.
Do you think people that perhaps have a couple of pennies in their bank are more susceptible to being used in trafficking?
Possibly.
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
I do. You see,
it's like if you're a millionaire and you have like I forgot who I was hearing talk about it. It could be a BS story too, but it's like there's this guy who's talking about he would rather have $100,000 than $600,000 because when he had $100,000 and someone was cleaning his house, the lady would just come in and clean it. But when he had $600,000, the lady would come in and act like she broke her hip or something, and try to get. Now that could be a BS story. I don't know, but. I could definitely see that playing out in certain
I can see that
instances, and I think the same could apply for stuff like
moral
this.
of the story is don't tell people what you're worth.
There you
go.
go.
That is one of the rules of
that, and just make sure whoever you're engaging with on any level of privacy, you trust them. It's not some
absolutely.
BS.
Don't tell them you drive a Bentley. Keep it hidden.
Well, I told you where that exists.
Absolutely. Well. I think we hit them today, man. A couple different.
You don't want to cover the best country
deals?
to retire in?
We can.
Oh yeah, but it's not America.
It's not.
Costa Rica. I haven't even looked at the list.
Switzerland.
Which one is it? Iceland?
Switzerland. Oh, I was close.
Oh, you were close.
Yeah.
Okay. Scandinavia up there. All of those. So we just need to move up there.
Move it down, Jack.
U.S. is 17.
France is low.
France is low. My time in France was a bit underwhelming, but
You've been to France.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the French?
They don't like us.
Corny.
I don't think a lot of people say that they come across as arrogant. When we skated and we went around the world, we knew a lot of French, obviously a lot of French skaters. I don't think they're arrogant. I just think it's their way at times. We take it.
It's like New York.
It's a different culture.
It is. It's a different culture.
And I just don't think that. But I thought that was a pretty interesting.
That list. And Japan's way down at the bottom too. Probably because they're overreaching some of their laws.
And I think they have like the highest suicide rate in any country.
There's so many people there, it's ridiculous.
But,
Scandinavia, so there we need to move.
Who is voting for Iceland? Like, what does Iceland have?
Scandinavia actually is. There's a lot going in Scandinavia. It's supposed to be a beautiful part of Europe.
I might have to make a trip to Iceland. That's where
and there's not much ice there, believe it or not.
Yeah, they got it wrong.
That's the part. You've got Greenland, and it's like, more ice in Greenland than what there is in Iceland.
South Korea. I know somebody from South Korea.
I thought that was just an interesting article.
That is.
I've got a friend that they've actually just moved to Asia. They've moved to Thailand, and they bought a 5 acres of land, which cost them about $80,000, just off the beach.
Oh wow!
Process of building a house there, and supposed to be beautiful. Originally, he was worried. He used to own a Century 21 franchise, and he was basically he was worried about the snakes when he went there. All the natural inhabitants. They cleared the land, and apparently he loves it. There's a place called, I think it's called. You ever been to Thailand, Jim?
I've been to Thailand. That's one country
there
I
was
want to
big
go
floods
to.
there recently, because he did tell me he went into Phuket and it was full of floods. Apparently COVID's really bad at the moment, so he doesn't really like going into a lot of the areas, really.
Oh yeah, I can imagine that.
Nothing's perfect. I don't think there's any perfect. But I thought that was a pretty interesting article. I did read it through. But from a retirement standpoint,
yeah, so things the way they've been going, they're going to be increasing. We just got to hang on for the ride, man.
Yeah.
Or buy plenty of Bitcoin.
Yeah. I do plan on doing
the
that.
U.S. economy by Bitcoin.
Absolutely.
So does that wrap us up today?
That wraps us up, man. I think we hit it.
Anybody that joined us, we want to thank you for your time, and I hope I didn't offend anybody. I know we both didn't offend anybody, but we don't mean to. We're just openly discussing, some of the points. But next week I'm not here.
Hey, that's all right. That's when we'll have the bonus show.
Yeah.
Me and Jack will turn it up in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
There was some people I was going to suggest that come in as guest speakers.
We'll see.
Then the week after, I don't know if I'm here or not, because I might have to go back to see somebody. Just let everybody know I'm involved in a leadership council that I'm participating in, and just real interesting. So we'll see. But I'm supposed to be back on the.
The real truth, he's a gambler, and we're trying to get him off. He's been going to rehab to get him off of there. So that's just, we were just going to be honest and transparent.
No, I'm not a gambler. I've never gambled on my life. That's something I can't do. I've never gambled. No, I've never drunk.
If you're in the crypto market, you are gambling.
You are gambling. Hey, you know what? Touche.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, have a good week.
Absolutely. If you need anything
actually, just quickly before we go, James, tell us about the interest rates in relation to. Have they gone up? You said?
Oh yeah, they've gone up because the market.
I thought that sort of stayed the same, but
they had been for a while.
But they reckon that they were going down or going up in December.
Last week, I think it was the Bank of England actually met and said they're going to be pulling back. They're going to be tapering on buying mortgage-backed securities, and anytime they do that, the money for the bonds, the price actually tanks. So that has an adverse effect on interest rates for us, and they've gone up. I probably seen
how much have they gone up?
Probably about an eighth to a quarter. To what? So
for the consumer on the street that's buying a house,
where I was had someone maybe at a 3%, maybe today they may be at 3.25% for that.
It's not much of an increase there.
It's not a ton of an increase, but depending on how much you're buying is where you're going to have where it'll hit you in the pocket. So you get to that over that $300,000, $400,000 range, that quarter can make a difference.
Right.
In it. So
what are the notes?
Still free.
One of the things that
it's stupid low though, still low.
Still
Even if rates went to 4%, rates are stupid low right now. So just know that it's just the people that are buying homes right now have never bought or never seen interest rates above 4%. So, you know, they just think that.
And with
that's
the with the agents that you're working with at the moment, do you think the real estate housing market is flattening off a little bit? Do you think there's more inventory out there than what there was?
Inventory still hasn't caught up yet. But what I will say this, and it may not be nice for everybody to hear, the agents that we're seeing doing business now won't be the agents for next year. I don't think everybody's going to last because it's just been tough. It's been tough.
And I agree with that.
To get offers accepted, to sustain through this kind of a market, you got to have a strategy more than just throwing it up against the wall to work. And
totally
some of these guys are going to go get jobs.
I agree with that. Well, you know, I've just done this class for, you know, that I think strategy is very important when you're writing a contract, and for you to explain that to your client about the different strategies that you can do. And the reason why I say that is because you know, it's predicted that the market would flatten off a little bit, but I don't see it flattening off. And the other reason why I'm saying that is one of the people that I'm very friendly with, I agreed to sell a house for him, me personally, and it was a house in Northwest Houston. He'd done a beautiful job of the flip and the updates and everything else. And it really was a nice house. We had 9 offers on the house. 9 offers.
Wow.
And the person, well, the offer that we selected was a corporation from a real estate investment trust. They offered $10,000 above list price. So it basically was a cash offer. Okay. And honestly, I can't see the the offer that we accepted, I can't see them making any money on that property as a rental at all. And I really would have thought when I took the listing on, you know what, a first-time home buyer, which would have been the perfect house for a first-time home buyer, but some of the offers that we got from the first-time home buyer, all right,
are too low.
Were simply not low. I mean, there was one of them that was over the list price. The agent that represented them, to be perfectly honest, got so personal with this, and it's a business decision,
right?
You know, where she ended up putting the phone down on me because we accepted another offer, which to me is totally unprofessional. Doesn't represent your client.
It's part of the game, man.
You know, I mean, I represent the seller, so you know we're going to go with what he considered the best offer. But it was just, I found it very difficult with that type of property. What I thought that property would have sold to and who it sold to, I would have thought was completely different to what actually happened in that instant.
Yeah.
And so I really think, I was so surprised that a corporation had bought the property to lease it out. You know, the lease price up there per month would have been around $1,800, $1,900 at the most.
Oh, okay.
And you know, and they're paying $275 for the house.
Yeah, there might not be much there.
There's going to be nothing there.
Right.
By the time, you know, if you've got a management company or, you know, any repairs you might. So I really think there's a bit of insanity out there.
Yeah.
But
we got to hang on for the ride, though, man.
Absolutely.
Well, next week we'll be back. Steve won't be here with us. So we'll have something.
I'll be in my leadership program.
As always, if you need us, our information is down in the description below.
Yeah. And we just want everybody to know good health, happiness, and, you know, live a good life.
Absolutely.
Enjoy life and, you know, make the best out of life. All the best, guys. Have a good week.
Take care.